When you first start seeing angel numbers, you'll probably think that you're going crazy. And, it's completely understandable, especially if you try to talk to other people about it who haven't seen angel numbers before or don't really, follow spiritual concepts that much. One of the big ways that people try to rationalize seeing angel numbers is that it's just a coincidence. And, when you first start seeing angel numbers, that might make sense. If you see 1111 once a month or something like that, that might be a coincidence. But when it gets to the point that you're seeing it like 5-10 times a day, it might not be a coincidence at that point. Maybe a higher power is trying to tell you something. At a certain point, when you're seeing angel numbers, it almost feels like they're chasing you. Like you can't avoid them. Like you see them everywhere. Like for example, me, I see them on the clock, like just with the time. I see them in YouTube comment sections, like a lot of comments will have 111 likes. People will have 111,000 subscribers. Things like that. Like you'll see the numbers everywhere and you can't avoid them no matter what you do. Whatever message the universe is trying to send you is very, very urgent. It is something that you need to know. Now, first, we need to get a better understanding of what angel numbers are. Angel numbers are basically any repeating number pattern that you see on a frequent basis. So it doesn't have to be like triple digits. Like it doesn't have to be like a 111 or a 222. It can be like a 911, 1234, just something that catches your attention and you see it very, very frequently. Now, what do angel numbers mean? I feel like, when most people see angel numbers, their first instinct is to go on the internet and do as much research as they possibly can. Read information from all these different websites, watch different videos about them. That's what I did. And that was a mistake on my part. And the reason why is because angel numbers won't necessarily mean the same thing for every person. So my 111 might be different than your 111. Trying to interpret all of these different meanings, it gave me anxiety. It definitely gave me anxiety. And it felt terrible. Every time I saw an angel number, my chest would tighten up and I'd start thinking like a million thoughts at a time and I would have to go lay down. Like it was bad. But I'm gonna get into that in a little bit. I want to take you guys through like my whole life experience with angel numbers. So I would say that my experiences started at a young age, maybe like 5th grade, so like 10 years old, 11 years old. This was when my dad began to introduce certain spiritual concepts to me. And at the time, being so young, I didn't really understand a lot of the things that he was teaching me. But I started to see 1111. And it wasn't like an everyday thing, but it was enough for me to take notice of it, even at such a young age. It's like, man, I see this number quite a bit. So, that was pretty much the extent of my experience in my childhood. Now, fast forward to last year, 2019. In 2019, I began to see new angel numbers that I hadn't really seen before. Now, I was seeing 1111 still on occasion, but I also began to see 111 all the time, every single day. I feel like looking back on it, I feel like that was the universe's way of telling me that I was on the right path. Last year was the year that I dropped out of school. It's the year that I started my YouTube channel, basically where I just decided to not follow the path laid out for me. And I decided to forge my own path and follow my purpose. And at times, I had doubts about my dreams, about my ability to achieve my dreams. I felt like I was going against the grain, and I occasionally would second guess my decisions. So I think that the universe gave me that number as a way to tell me that I was on the right path. Like I said, this is in hindsight. At the time, I did not know what this meant. I just know that I was seeing it multiple times a day. So, like I said, this is past the point of coincidence. This is like, okay, someone's trying to tell me something. Now, that continued all throughout 2019, and I think it got more and more frequent as the year went on, actually. And it really came to a head in early 2020, January. So in January, I met this girl whom I've talked about in pretty much every video I've made in like the past month or two. And the reason why I talk about her so much is because this was like the catalyst for my spiritual awakening. So, any like wisdom that I have now in regards to spirituality and, self-help, like anything like that can be traced back to that. So, if you notice a pattern of me talking about that situation a lot, that's why. So anyways, I met this girl on Tinder and, we started talking, and it was like things moved very, very rapidly between us. Like, of course, with Tinder, it starts out as a physical connection, a physical attraction to each other. So it's like, I see this girl and I say, oh, okay, she's good looking. And she sees me, she says, oh, he's good looking. So there's physical attraction there. Then we began talking and we realized that we had a lot in common. And some of the things that we had in common were like very important to me. Like, for example, she's vegetarian and, she was spiritually inclined and all these types of things. So because of that, we developed a mental attraction. So now there's a physical attraction and a mental attraction. Now, I'm gonna actually take it back before I met her. So before I met her, I was not in a good state of mind. Like I said, I was having doubts about myself. I was struggling with my confidence, and I just didn't feel like I was in a good place in life. I wasn't happy with where I was and what I was doing. And, this took a big toll on my mental health, and I've struggled with depression and having suicidal thoughts in the past. So, when I met her, she became kind of like a source of light for me, when I really needed it the most. And it's like I felt like this connection to her that I had just never really felt with anybody before. She felt like home. And I know that sounds so corny and so cliche, but it's like that one spot that you have that you can just go there and everything feels like it's gonna be all right. Or, that song that you can listen to, that video you can watch, whatever it is, that one thing that brings you real, true peace and comfort. That was her. She became that for me. So because of that, I developed, an emotional and spiritual connection to her. Maybe that wasn't fair to her, and that wasn't really fair to me either. But I don't think that us meeting was an accident. And the reason why I say this is because she saw 111 as well. She was the first person I've ever met in my life that saw the number 111. And I remember when I found that out, I couldn't believe it. I was like so shook. I was like, there is no way. Like, she's lying. She's capping. There's no way. She is like stalking me. And and like, this all sounds crazy, but like, it didn't make sense in my head. There was no rational explanation for this. So what I did was I told her, let's send each other screenshots every time we see the number. And we started doing that, and it was like 5 to 10 times a day. And it's not like we were just intentionally looking for the number. It just found us. Like, you can't run from it. It would just find us. So, when we went on dates, I remember a couple of the times that we hung out, we saw 111 or 1111. And it was like, bro, like, okay, the universe is trying to tell me something. I didn't know what it was, but, my mind kind of rationalized it as, she must be the one for me. That's the only explanation for this. She has to be the one. We must be meant for each other. Now, fast forward about a month. Like I said, we only talked for like a month. And after we separated, that was like a really dark point in my life. I'm not even going to lie to you. And it's not her fault. I don't want you guys to think that she just like broke my heart or something like that. She did what she had to do, because she wasn't ready for a relationship. And I wasn't ready for a relationship either, clearly. Because I was developing this dependency on her. And I think that the longer we went, the deeper my dependency would have been. Our separation basically led me straight into a spiritual awakening. And I've made a video about my spiritual awakening if you want to check that out. But basically, it led me straight into a spiritual awakening. And I remember as soon as we separated and as soon as I started this spiritual awakening, I began to see other angel numbers aside from 111 and 1111. I'm talking like all of them. 222, 333. Basically every repeating number you could think of, as well as like 1, 2, 3, 4. I started to see 314, which is my birthday. I started to see 1212. Like, there was basically any number you could think of, I was seeing almost all of the angel numbers every day. I still am too, to this day. And, my awakening started back in March, I would say, around the same time quarantine started. So I began to see all of these numbers simultaneously. And like I said, this gave me anxiety because I thought that I had to know what these numbers meant in my conscious mind. And so I began obsessing about what these numbers meant. And I would look at all these websites and, everybody was saying something different. And what I realized is that you're not really supposed to know what these numbers mean in your conscious mind. These numbers, what they really are, they're messages from, a higher power, whatever you want to call it, the universe, God, whatever your name is for it. The reason why they communicate through numbers is because the message they're sending bypasses the ego and thus the conscious mind. Basically, these numbers go straight to your subconscious. Not the numbers, but the message that the numbers represent. They go straight to your subconscious, and your subconscious influences your actions. I'm going to give you an example, and this is something that I literally just noticed before I turned the camera on today. I remember one day, this was May 16th, okay? And the reason why I know it was May 16th is because I have a journal, and I journaled about it because this experience was very, strange to me at the time. So I remember I was driving, and it was raining outside, so, it was kind of hard to see. But I was driving, and, one thing that I've been doing over the past few months is I've taken these random drives and let my intuition tell me where to go. And in doing this, I've seen a lot of angel numbers. It'll just take me to places where there's a lot of angel numbers there. On signs, on license plates, wherever, it'll take me to places where I'll see angel numbers. Now, I remember this particular time was my first time going this route. There was this one route that I usually went, but this time I decided to take a right instead of going straight. Now, when I took a right, like I said, it was raining outside, so it was kind of hard to see the signs on the side. But on the right side, I saw a sign with 999 on it. So that caught my attention. And immediately after that, there was another sign. And it was like a promotion sign for maybe a neighborhood or something like that. But I saw the words "coming soon." Those were the words that stuck out to me. A week later, on the 24th, so about 8 days later, I uploaded my NoFap 30-day benefit video. And that video took me past my goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers by August. That was my goal for the longest time, since August 2019. I think that the number, the 999, that kind of influenced me to make that video. And I remember I got this divine inspiration to make that video. And I came home and the house was empty and I just felt really comfortable with it. And so everything just lined up for me to make that. I took inspired action basically. But I just remember when I saw the coming soon, I was like, man, something big must be coming. Then I posted that video and it blew up, relative to the other videos on my channel. That was the video that basically doubled my sub count and got me monetized and made me most of the money that I've made on YouTube so far. So the main point that I want to illustrate here is that these angel numbers aren't really meant to be understood with the conscious mind. So don't stress about trying to figure out what these numbers actually mean, in words, because if the universe wanted to communicate to you with words, it would do that. Just focus on listening to your intuition, doing what feels right, doing what feels right within you. Listen to your gut, follow your gut feelings, even if it doesn't seem like it makes sense at the time. Before I end this video, I do want to share one more experience, and this is something that I'm going through right now. And, I just want to put this out there just in case this actually does happen. But in the last week, I've begun to see 1111 every day, which that's new to me. I've never seen it that often. Every single day, 1111. Now, I've noticed that since I saw that number, since I began seeing that number, I've had this drive and motivation to make more videos, to post almost every day. And not only that, but I'm getting these ideas, I'm getting a crazy amount of ideas. And I don't think I've ever worked this hard on YouTube before. So it's I'm getting this urge to just go all in, this is my time. That's kind of what it feels like to me. I feel like I need to capitalize on the momentum that I have right now. I'm about to hit 3,000 subscribers, but I'm aiming way higher than that. I want to make this my career. I'm trying to move out. I'm trying to live, an abundant lifestyle and, change as many lives as I can. So, I feel like me seeing these numbers and, me all of a sudden wanting to work much harder at this is an indicator that I'm gonna blow up, probably sooner than I think. Now, like I said, I'm just putting this out there so that, when it does happen, because it will happen, I'll have proof. I'll have proof that this is actually like true. This is legit. I'm having people DM me every day telling me that I'm gonna blow up. And it's like, I have 2,000 subscribers right now, like that's crazy. Like other people feel, the need or desire to tell me that I'm gonna blow up, to encourage me. It's gotta happen. Like, I feel like this is gonna happen, and I just wanna say this so that I'll have evidence when it does happen that I knew it was gonna happen. By May 2021, I will have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube.